L'chaim!
So did you get your supplies for the snowstorm?
Yeah, I'm always ready, man. I have a snowblower. I have ice. I have shovels. It's always ready to go. Ice, salt.
Salt, melt,
yeah.
ice melt, yeah.
I call it ice melt, yeah. Exactly. All right, so we got a couple things to discuss here. A lot of stuff going on in the world. I wanna track back to last episode because we just started discussing some things, that were very relevant to like right now. And one of those things was being single at our age versus the fear of being single at our age. So like, for instance, when I was single, things were a lot different. This was a long time ago. I was a much younger and prettier man when I was single. And then my wife took me off the market. But things were different. Like, we didn't have Tinder. We didn't have any of the kind of insane advances in technology that we have today that correlate with dating. So like, we had plenty of fish, and it was like a wasteland of like disgusting whores and like desperate people. Like, you went on there and you were like, no thank you. But now it's like Tinder, everyone's on it. Have you jumped on Tinder?
Mm-hmm.
You have?
Yeah.
So what's it like?
It's a crazy, desperate world.
Is it?
Yeah, it's...
so it's no different than Plenty of Fish. There's just more people on it.
They're all the same. There's not like everything's shit out there, definitely not. But, yeah, it's tough dating and meeting people in this day and age. Especially someone like me. All my friends are married, so...
Yeah, not a lot of going out.
Correct.
No bar time.
Right.
But I feel like kids that are in the generation just under us, I mean, like, in their late 20s, early 30s right now that are single, like, they don't go out either. Like, they just rely on the technology.
I wonder if that ever have an ill effect on, like, service-type businesses. Like, literally, if people go out, are people really going out less?
Yes.
But
I mean, you don't see it,
like where the...
I'll give you an example. Like, when I go out with my wife and we go to some restaurants that have bars, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, those bars at a certain point on a Friday night would start filling up with young professionals and like single people. Today, the bars are almost always empty. Now, I know like DUIs and all that stuff plays a role in that, but it just seems like people have become very reliant on technology to create that first icebreaker for them and like get them together in another aspect.
I agree. I heard a statistic, or I guess some sort of prediction the other day that said that kids they lack like the social skills.
Yeah.
In life, because they are constantly in this digital world and not having that interaction.
Yeah. Well, kids, that's up to the parents. Because, we had Nintendo when we were kids,
yeah.
And we had cartoons, but our moms would be like, first of all, you're sitting too close to the TV. You're not outside of the 6-foot radii,
Do you still play video games?
Not as much as I did, but I still like to play in them. Yeah.
What do you have, like a current system?
PS4, yeah.
Okay.
Best game I'm playing right now is like Spider-Man.
Okay.
But I can't play all the time, so I'll put it down for months on that.
My video game, I guess, growth has stopped after the original Nintendo. Like,
oh, really?
I had a Sega, and I think we also had a Nintendo 64.
Okay.
But I was not into them like I was original Nintendo. Like, I still love original Nintendo. And
did you get one of the revamps?
No, my sister did, but I haven't yet. I saw one that I liked, and it said like it had 500 games in it. Yeah. But then I saw some. I read some reviews, and it said like it was a scam. People didn't receive their stuff, so I was like,
really?
I don't really know, and I didn't really.
Well, I saw they had some at like Nordstrom's over the holidays, like one of these like retail stores. They had like the Sega one, and they had the Nintendo one.
Yes,
and I was this close to buying the Sega one just because it was
So you were a Sega person over original Nintendo?
I had both.
Oh, you did? I did too, but I mean, I definitely liked original Nintendo better.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it, but I liked the Sega where it was going. Like, did you have Sega Genesis?
I think so.
So there was a game on Sega Genesis. I can't remember the name of it, but you were basically in a flight simulator flying through like tubes and like shooting stuff. Like, graphically at that point, I think it was one of the most advanced games.
The games I played on Sega Genesis were NHL Hockey.
Yeah.
And Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat.
And another type of Mortal Kombat game.
Yeah.
And that was like, I had other games, but that was seriously like all that I played on Sega.
Yeah.
But on Nintendo.
When did Tekken come out? That came out like on an arcade, and then
I think it came out in the handheld.
Yeah, something
originally,
like that.
Right?
Original, yeah.
I know my cousin had some little football game that I'd always play when I went to his house.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Then no, not Tekken, the football game. That was Tecmo.
Tecmo, you're right.
Yeah. I'm talking about Tekken, the fighting game.
I don't know. I think that was in Sega Genesis though.
I think it was an arcade first, maybe. Maybe I was playing it at the bowling alley.
Really?
Yeah.
You like pinball?
To bowl?
No, pinball machines.
Oh yeah. I mean, I haven't played one in so long. You know, I think it's interesting because you don't see them anywhere anymore. If you see them at like a antique store. You know, like people buy them for their basements and stuff to have nostalgia.
It's cool though. Yeah. Every time I see one in somebody's house that I would go to,
exactly.
I always play it because I like pinball machines. I like that old stuff. I can remember a time I was up in New Hampshire for a hockey camp. My uncle came down and met me there one night, and him and one of his friends, and let's see, he was probably at the time 28, 29, and I was probably 7.
Yeah.
There was this arcade in town, and it was next to a pizza shop. We went there, we got some pizza, and then we just played arcade like for 2 hours.
Yeah,
it was amazing. They don't have those old time arcades around much anymore. They did build one in York.
They had one downtown. Yeah, you pay by the hour.
Yeah, I did go there once.
So speaking of York, I got a question here. Like I drive around the work doing my thing, and I'll see guys in their early 20s running, you know, trying to get in shape with yoga pants on. No shorts on top. Just the yoga pants. Is this a sin?
I guess it depends on the color of the pants.
Yeah. I just, it's so brazen to me. You know what I mean? Like, we grew up with baggy clothing. Like, in general, it was more fashionable. Yeah, like Jinko jeans and all that stuff. Everyone was kind of covered up, you know? It was a mystery what was going on.
Did you wear, like, in 6th, 7th, 8th grade, did you wear, like, a flannel?
Yeah, I have pictures of that for sure.
Right, open flannel.
I still do it.
You're actually
doing it
right
now. I have a flannel and a t-shirt on. Like that's still my style.
Yeah, I wear flannels. I don't really open them up though, but I still wear them. Mm-hmm. Corduroys. Did you wear corduroys?
Corduroys, not so much. I hated those.
Did you?
God, they were so uncomfortable.
I used to love corduroys.
Really?
And like you said, baggy.
Baggy, yeah. Everything was baggy. We were like skaters and stuff.
Skater
right?
dye.
And you had to have like a skater dye. You had to have like those, you know, Airwalk shoes.
Yes, Airwalks.
Or a pair of Vans.
Yep.
And then like,
Vans, I feel like made a comeback.
Vans have made a comeback. Well, everything's hipster now. Yeah. Like I walked into a store like maybe a year ago, and like their front display was Doc Marten boots with a flight jacket, you know, the orange inside flight jacket, and then like a Dead Kennedys t-shirt.
It's like
that was the display of what they were selling.
It's like they went right back to like 1991.
Exactly. Yeah, 94 up to 94, 95. Like that stuff was there forever.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like they just bring it right back. Yeah. It's like all these reboot movies, like Mary Poppins. Yeah. You know, it's like there's no originality.
Well, part of that is with the studios. So this is how that works. Right now, you know, you have the studios are running out of material. Mm-hmm. Not running out of material, but it costs them so much more to pay somebody to create new material. So follow me here. They have all this stuff in their vaults that they have under contracts for patents, XYZ, character purchases, whatever. They have to keep reusing them, or else the contract goes open, the copyright contract.
And somebody can
take the character. Like, so that's what the big division is in the Marvel universe.
They just can't re-up? Like, fill out another...
Well, the point being is that they have these contracts going on, and then they have all this writing that they own, and instead of paying you to write them a new story, like a lot of money, or going to an author of a book and saying we want to buy your stuff, they just rehash their old stuff. Yeah. Saves them a lot of money, and they still put it out there. And then here's the thing: it's our fault as the consumer because they still put it out there and we go.
Yeah, I know.
You follow my logic? So like they put out like 55 Spider-Mans, and we keep going.
Well, they keep making money.
They keep making money, and they don't have to license another character. Think about it. That's why if you look at like actual comic universes, there's thousands of characters. There's so many they can like bring into these movie deals and make other movies
they own
with
like
them.
that shit, right? Like DC, Marvel, like
They own it all. Well, some of them they sold off when the movie started. Like when the X-Men movie started and all that back in the day, and the cartoons and all that, they were selling off characters. You know, and people were buying the rights to the characters. Like, I want to do Wolverine. You know, so they would buy Wolverine and make a Wolverine movie. Well, then when they wanted to make the X-Men movie as a Marvel studio, they actually had to buy Wolverine back from like Fox. Fox 23 or whatever it is, Fox 20th Century Fox. Yeah. So like it was like, you know, it was crazy.
It's a good business model, I guess.
Well, at the end of the day, you know, it's up to like Netflix and Prime to like create new stories,
right? Because
they don't have that in their vaults. That's why more people watch Netflix and Prime than the old studios, because they're getting built up.
Yeah.
They're building up new stuff.
Yeah. Well.
So, legalizing marijuana. When's it going to happen here in Pennsylvania?
I would say recreationally, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
You think 1 year? 2 years?
No, because there's still, I think, a Republican majority in Congress, or the Senate here, or maybe both.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll get passed.
Well, I mean, considering the record incomes that some of the states are making off taxing it.
Yeah, I heard something the other day that
even Governor Wolf put in some sort of request to have legislation written up on recreationally legalizing marijuana. Yeah.
Yeah, I read something, or I heard something the other day that said that you know, Colorado's in its 4th year of this experiment, and that they're actually violent crimes has gone up in that time.
Well, so many people moved in, so you have to take in like the fact that since Colorado has legalized marijuana, it's had a major population boom.
Yeah.
People from California, people from all over the place. Even like people are going there for the past 10 years to get medical treatments that they can't get anywhere else, right? Because it's completely recreational there. They can go and get salves and pills and different kinds of smoke that have different levels of THC depending on their ailment. So they've had a major population boom in Colorado. And when that happens, you're going to have crime, because not everywhere that's coming there is savory.
Yeah, certainly not.
Yep.
Certainly not.
Yeah. So we're talking about ailments here, right? Now, I have a question for you, and it's kind of like controversial, so let's just talk about it. Fuck it. Why is it if a person wants to transition sexually, you know, from one sex to the other, they can go to a doctor, have a full blood panel, get all the hormonal stuff they need to do that, you know, test or estrogen, vice versa. Surgeries, etc. It's perfectly legal, and the doctors will do it, and even they push for insurance to cover it. But for a middle-aged man who's having trouble getting back in shape to get hormone boosters, it's like almost impossible. Like, you got to be really like deficient, or you get denied. You can't just go and be like, Doc, look, I'm fat. I want to run better. I want to be a better man.
Is there like such thing as too much testosterone where you can like adversely hurt your body?
Well, look, I'm not a scientist. I'm not going to claim I know anything about the science. Let me put that out there first. But like, if you do the right beta blockers and you take the HGH and you don't drink alcohol, a doctor can monitor you on elevated levels of testosterone, like take you back to the levels you were at when you were 18. Imagine that happening in your body right now. Feeling like an 18-year-old. Just fat, just shredding.
Every day I get out of bed, my back hurts.
Yeah, I mean, imagine a testosterone boost that could like really tighten up those muscles, like in 6 months.
What about stem cells?
Stem cells, I'd like to look into. I mean, I've heard of big things in like Panama and like other countries where it's more legal, and they do all the stem cell cultures off of the umbilical cord from the baby.
Yeah, like, we saved both our kids' cord blood
for them. Yeah. All parents are now. Yeah. It's like standard. Like, they ask you want to keep it. Like, it used to be.
We did for both of them.
They never did that before, but now because of the stem cells, everyone's doing it. Huge.
But it's still stem cells is still illegal in the U.S., right?
No, there is stem cell therapy available, but I think the regulations and the rules on it are a little different.
Does it have to do with like growing a new part? Is that where the law comes in? I don't know, because like, as you know, I'm a diabetic, and I've I got to assume that stem cells could help do something with the pancreas.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Like I said, I don't know.
I think you just need to make a lot of money and fly down to Panama and have like doctors look at you. See, I mean, like
why
people.
Panama though?
Because that's apparently where, and I'm getting this off of other fucking podcasts that I watch, but I've listened to a couple doctors talk about like that's where it's happening right now. And I've heard interviews where they.
I wonder what the.
I'll give you the
fail
podcast.
Rate is,
I'll give you the podcast later.
Okay, well, I wonder what the fail rate is.
No, there's no fail rate. That's not how it works. They inject you with like a saline solution that's like filled with stem cells, basically, and you cycle in and out of that for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, but I
kind of like dialysis.
Couldn't anything contaminated get in any of the bags in the country that I don't know anything about? Obviously, their medical system, so I don't know. Is it
like you're trying to buy street stem cells? Black market stem cells. Like I was just trying to figure out what the fuck you're talking about. Maybe right? Like it's steroids. It's not like steroids. You
hear about all these horror stories.
It's not like steroids.
People going to like South or Central American, doctors and having these horror stories.
Yeah, I mean, like sure, but if it's your last help, yeah. But that's why we're not doing it. That's what I'm talking about. Exactly what I'm talking about, with like testosterone and everything else. Right. Like if I could go to a doctor right now and say, "Hey, doc, I'm like." Creeping up on 40, I'm just not feeling that great in the gym anymore, and I want that extra boost. I want to get jacked again. He'd say, hell no, boy, you're pumping 800, parts per whatever it is.
Parts per
yeah, for DPS, yeah, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. He'd say, this is your numbers.
T levels.
You're too high. Your T levels. You're too high. Gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I don't know.
But if I want to cut my dick off and turn it into a female, they will jack my estrogen levels and just smash my T levels.
I don't know, dude. That's beyond my comprehension.
I know, me too. I don't get it. I don't understand why that's it's like psychologically to me, it's the same thing. It's body dysmorphia. This person doesn't like the way they look or feel in their body. They want to change it.
I guess in one
I'm the same way. I have body dysmorphia on my body. I want it to look better.
You'd have to go start seeing like maybe a psychologist for it to have some sort of paper trail.
Maybe that's a good idea.
You're just being, listen, it's really affecting my self-esteem.
Yeah, I want to get on this stuff. Yeah.
And I feel as though I need to get back to being 18 and
I don't know.
Physically, but
I brought this up before. I brought this up before, and people like straight shit on me. They were like, "Oh, your feelings don't compare to that person that's transitioning. Like you don't matter."
I mean, I guess it's really.
I'm like, dude, what's the difference? Yeah, we both have.
There is, in my opinion, there's no like. Who cares if you want to, whatever you want to do?
Want to be in life, right? Exactly. Go do it.
You should just do it. Like sure. I always feel like even like that's why they should legalize the drugs and prostitution, because who are they to know better what somebody wants to do with their own body?
100%.
But anyways, maybe it's like looked at as like if you had a car and you painted one would just be a paint job to make it different, and the other one would be like a complete like upgrade. And so
and that's what they do. They sell you vitamins in the vitamin store, and that's kind of like, you know what I mean, like just maintaining the shit you got, making you feel like maybe even a placebo effect. They say most of it's just garbage. You piss most of it out, right?
Yeah, like a water pill or something.
So I mean, like basically you take vitamins, but like if you want to go get like the real deal, like go get a tune-up. See ya.
Tune-up.
Like you're out of here.
Yeah. Do you always how often do you get your oil changed, speaking of tune-up?
It's been
a
while.
Do 3,000, 5,000, or are you?
Are you talking about real cars now?
Yeah, I'm talking about real
you're
cars.
Still talking about my butthole. What the fuck's going on?
No, I'm talking about your real car. Like
no, yeah, I go.
Back in the day, it used to be like
5,000.
5,000.
Because I use synthetic oil.
Yeah.
I
think
are you
that's on top of that? Like when the sticker says.
My car tells me.
I know, but do you always?
I watch the stickers too. Yeah.
As soon as the car dings, you just pull right into a shop to get it fixed? Or
no, I keep an eye on
it.
I keep an eye on it, but if I go over by 500 miles, it doesn't burn my ass. You know what I mean? Like really, those oils today, they're graded from like 4,000 to 6,000, 7,000 miles.
I've heard even 10,000.
I've heard up to 10,000. And in fact, when I had my old Mercedes and I took it to the Mercedes guy, local guy, S&D, like he would tell me to come back every 8,000 miles. Like I don't even want to see. He'd write on the sticker 8,000 miles. So I mean, like I was like, damn, this is a shit snazzle. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a bit of a procrastinator when it comes to that.
Yeah.
I've gotten better, but I'm like, I've been over 6,000 miles.
Yeah, sure. I mean, as long as you're using like a synthetic blend or a full synthetic,
No, I'm
you're
saying
fine.
I've been over when it says to go back by 6,000.
Well, and what I'm saying is, if you're using those blends, I think they can go 8,000 miles without damaging the car.
Yeah, this was probably.
Like they suggest 3,000 or 5,000 miles, depending on the viscosity or whatever the
I went to
breakdown.
12,000.
12,000, yeah.
Yeah.
On one. So
On one.
you were like a couple thousand over, like.
Yeah, I was like 6,000
yeah,
over.
Yeah. Why is that? You just don't pay attention.
Just life gets in the way sometimes. I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's different. Like.
No, but when it was more like when I was younger. Like I just didn't
Pay attention.
I didn't believe it. I was like, you don't need fucking oil.
Did you wreck a car doing that?
No. Have you been in an accident?
I've been hit twice.
Really?
I've been hit twice from behind. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't a fender bender. Other than that I got hit again. He hit me.
Were you hurt?
More traumatized than anything the first time. Like I was in a big old Cadillac, like 88 type boat of a vehicle. And I was in a Nissan 240SX, a little 1995 little Coke can.
Was it red?
It was maroon. You remember that car.
I remember that car, yeah.
And he came up from behind doing about 55, older gentleman. Didn't even see me.
No shit.
Yeah, it was kind of like a downhill thing. He came up over the hill, crested,
right
came
there.
right on me.
Were
and
you
just popped me,
did you
dude.
have airbags?
They didn't deploy. I got hit from behind and he pushed me like, man, probably like 20 yards.
No shit.
Yeah, I had my buddy in the car with me. It was like two of us.
Were you guys hurt?
It was
Or
traumatic.
just really
Shook up. We were young, man. We were like 17. Like, like that kind of thing. I think it just shook us more.
Yeah. Do you remember what your first car was?
That was my first car.
That was your first car?
Yeah, and then I got it fixed from that. They didn't damage the. I guess because we slid so far, they didn't actually like break the frame, like cause any dents.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
the car was fine.
That car was a Coke can. Like when I tell you, like it took the impact in the back, the trunk looked like an accordion had sunk in. Like that's what it looked like, and we got pushed forward.
Oh, so you did get damage?
Yeah, sure. I had to get.
His didn't have damage.
Barely. That thing was a tank. Those 88 like Cadillacs and stuff, they were made of steel, bro. Like those things they could drive into war. Like by 1999 when they were making cars out of plastic. You know what I mean?
Like
the
bumpers are just plastic.
All the interiors are all plastic. Like your speaker covers, this, that. It used to be all like,
Yeah, it used to be a
steel frame, and then use like leather and like different hard plastics. And I have an old Cadillac. It just looks completely different from new cars. Like
that's cool. My first was a Ford Taurus. I called it. Did you have a name for yours?
Not my first car. No, I started naming trucks later in life.
Nice. I called it the Golden Goose.
The Golden Goose. Oh yeah.
It was like a gold.
The Taurus.
Yeah, the Ford Taurus. I love that car.
Yeah.
You could take the key out of the ignition while you were driving.
Oh, I think I remember that.
Do you remember that?
I think I do.
Yeah. Like you could be driving down the highway 70 miles per hour and just go boop.
Yeah.
So I did that to so many people. I'd be trying to be like, here, can you hold this? And I think they freak out.
What a dick.
That was funny though. Yeah, the Golden Goose.
That's amazing. That's amazing, man. No, I had the one truck that I named in my life was my old pickup truck, my work truck. I named her Bessie. I bought her with like 195,000 miles on her.
Yeah.
Put a couple grand into her to keep her running. But she was just rusted out and smelled like shit half the time.
I remember I was up at playing in a hockey tournament, and I was staying at my buddy's house, and I ran out to the store in like the family car.
Yeah.
And I was in the car alone, and it was 97,000 miles.
Oh, and you were driving it.
And I was driving. So they've had this car for 15 years, right? They've watched it creep up. I'm going to the store on a freezing winter afternoon, and it hits I hit their milestone before. I remember I came back, I was like, hey, listen, you guys might not be happy about this, but it just hit 200,000 miles.
Really?
That was so
Some
funny.
people take real pride in that.
That's what I was thinking. Because like I remember when my first car hit over 100.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, here it comes. I remember I took a picture and shit like that. 100.
Get the phone out.
But now having a car going 175, 200,000 miles.
Totally normal.
It's nothing.
Yeah, totally normal. I plan on driving both my cars till they hit about 200,000. 195, and that's when I want to sell them off. Because that's after that. That's when most cars really start
Losing value.
just falling apart on you.
Oh, falling apart.
You know, you could stay pretty safe up until 180, 190,000 miles.
Yeah,
and then it's
amazing.
just trade them in or sell them off or whatever. You give them to
over.
a kid, let him put the money into keeping it running. You know what I mean?
No, it's true. But that's a lot of miles. Like, a car hitting 100 now, I mean, certainly wouldn't be taking a picture.
Yeah, no way. It would be
no big deal.
Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time now. Like, I drive so much more too. I'm in New York. I'm in Richmond. I'm over here. I'm over there. Yeah. Like I take the car everywhere. So it's, you know, when you're a kid, you're going to high school. You have your car parked outside so you can drive it back and forth from school, and you think it's a big deal. And someone says, "Let's go to Baltimore for the day," and you're like, "Oh my God, how are we gonna get there? Do you have a map?"
Right. Map, right? I don't even know how to.
Remember MapQuest?
Yeah, but I mean, remember reading a fucking random McNally map?
Yeah. Really? Like
reading
an atlas,
my
an
dad,
atlas map.
Yeah, a big atlas map.
Yeah,
and it was. I remember that was crazy. I couldn't even tell anybody how to get anywhere anymore. I'm lucky I remember how to get over here.
Yeah, you know how to get around the whole neighborhood. Like obviously, yeah. But with a GPS now, it does.
You don't even have to think about it.
I'll tell you what though, if you do it enough in repetition, you really learn where you are. Like driving to New York always used to be like suspect for me. Because I would just follow the GPS. I felt the same way about it, but now I've done it like so many times.
Yeah, of course.
That I'm like, I don't even have the time. I'm not even looking at GPS. I'm just going because I know where it wants to send me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean it's crazy how that shit happens. So I think it stopped snowing already.
So let me ask you a question, completely off topic. I see a lot of guys on the internet putting up pictures of UFOs.
Really?
Is this really happening?
UFOs?
Yeah.
Or I guess another
like aliens out there or whatever it is.
100%.
Is it real?
I think you'd have to be pretty naive to think that we're the only beings in the universe. Like there's got to be something. Like you look at, I read a book by Stephen King called The Dome, and I mean, I don't know if have you heard of it or seen it or anything. I know of the book. I didn't read it though. Yeah. It was my first Stephen King book. They're huge, by the way. I don't know if you know Stephen King book, but they're enormous. But I made it. It was the longest book I ever read, for sure.
Yeah, my mom owns all of them. She was in the Stephen King book club. She owns all his books and has read all of them. Yeah, I'll show you the collection.
That's great. I might have to go shopping in there.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's about like this town that gets all of a sudden some sort of clear dome is like around the town. Mm-hmm. They don't understand, like all of a sudden, like boom, there's like a dome there. They sort of can see it, but the rest of the world's outside, and this one town is trapped under this dome, and they don't know what it is. And at the end, I mean, spoiler alert, at the end, it's basically their ants, and somebody put like some sort of magnifying glass or whatever. Not magnifying glass, but like
so a giant.
Yeah, like somebody bigger.
Yeah.
You know, like I always say if ants were bigger, they would take over the world.
Yeah, they're good colonizers.
We're just big ants to somebody.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. It is the possibility of us being the only life force it's so unfathomable, because if it is true, then like nothing's real. You know what I mean? If everything is cued to us in the universe, then none of this is real. This is all just an illusion, right? Like it's like to put it in perspective, instead of saying that there's aliens out there, let's say it's an algorithm or a code,
right?
And it's just created to make our little existence so that some analyst somewhere else can say, well, they reacted this way.
They're working a fucking 8 to 5.
They did this. You know, we put the melanated with the Caucasian with the Asian, and they fought here, and they did this, and they raped each other here, and did that.
It's like we're some video game. Someone's literally they're working an 8 to 5 job. They go home, they're miserable on the fucking weekend. You know, like And we're that code. We're that that program simulation that they're studying. Yeah, simulation.
Yeah. What do you call that? Virtual reality?
I guess.
I mean, that's pretty much what it's like. Like The Sims. Like we're a version of The Sims. Just
them creating The
going
Sims
through life.
Was like their little clue, like hint to us.
Mm-hmm. Or what if when they log off, like this just stops? We don't know it.
Right. That's right.
Like it just freezes. Like we're sitting here like this.
Maybe
It could have just happened. Like right now, we could have just been frozen in time for like over an hour until they logged back on and took us over.
Maybe their 8 to 5 is like a
1,000
trillion years.
1,000 years
yeah,
for
something.
us. Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So like he's still his first day of work.
Exactly.
But for us, it's been whatever since whatever.
Yeah, the dawn of time.
Right, like
dawn
it's
of fucking time.
And eventually, his bell's gonna ring at 5 o'clock.
Like,
and he's gonna be like, all right, Earl, I'll see you.
Everything shuts off. Everything shuts
and
off. Start over the next day. What if it's like that? What if really like the Big Bang Theory is them turning on the game that time?
You're the computer.
The computer, yeah, it turns on and boom, it puts our universe there.
Like the old like computer screens used to have, or when they went out, they're like flat, like they beep.
And they're like logging on and it says creating dimension or whatever, and you could see it like going around, and then like it stops and like there's this humanity there.
And the guy Hank or whatever his name
Hank,
is,
Earl.
he spills his coffee.
Hey, Earl.
It's only 9 o'clock.
It's his second day on the job.
And he spills his coffee on the computer.
Thing. Now he can't function anything. The humans
dead.
are murdering each other like crazy. You didn't even make it past the Stone Age, you idiot.
People would murder each other. It would just be lights out.
Yeah. Oh, he'd turn it off.
Yeah, he
shut down that multiverse in one day.
It's amazing. You ever see the show Fringe?
No.
It was
Fringe.
Great show.
What's it about?
Basically, it's about an alternative universe, and then some other crazy stuff like that. And it's a good movie. Sort of at the end, it had.
What drew you in? Was there a hot chick?
They got me with. I think I actually watched it all on Netflix, just searching for something, and
it's a movie.
No, it's a Netflix series.
Oh, it's a whole series.
Yeah, it's good. A couple seasons, worth the watch.
I'll check it out. Yeah, definitely. I like watching new stuff on Netflix.
My rule with finding a new series like that on Netflix is it's got to have more than 4 seasons. Because I got into 2 shows that had 2 seasons.
It broke your heart.
Still broken. Revolution and Jericho. You ever seen or heard of either of them?
Yes, I have heard of both of them.
Okay.
Is Jericho the? No, that's something else.
Jericho is like a nuclear or some sort of post-apocalyptic or something.
I think
whatever.
they dropped a bomb. Whatever. Yeah.
I saw it a long time ago. I just remember I loved it, and 2 seasons, and same with Revolution. That was cool. Do you know about that one? Basically, all of electricity goes out around the world. There's no electricity, and they go back to like 1700, very primitive times,
right?
Where they're horsing, but but there's still like modern things, or like so there's modern jails.
Right.
There's no electricity.
Right, candles and shit.
Right, yeah. So it's
they have the structures there.
Sure,
they can sustain them and keep them going. Right, yeah. And I'm sure that was a disaster for people.
So that's why,
in hospitals.
It was
pretty cool.
Awesome, but it was 2 seasons, and it was disappointing.
And it broke your heart.
Yeah, it was pretty shitty, but.
Have you ever been called a fuckboy?
No.
Is this like the new way of calling boys whores? Like, they used to call women whores that would sleep around. Now they're trying to shame boys that sleep around by calling them fuckboys.
Is that what that means?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
I have no idea. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I hear it from time to time. Oh, he's a fuckboy.
Really?
He's a fuckboy. Is it a way like is it a term of endearment?
Had you not said?
Do you want to catch that level now in society? Like, hey, I'm a fuckboy. How you doing?
I don't know. I like I said, I never heard of it, but when you said it and then described what you think it means, I guess it sort of does make sense that that's what they're trying to say.
That's what they're going for.
I don't know, but I've never heard of it. It's kind of stupid. It
is kind of dumb. But then again, I mean, like, it's... I don't know. I hear younger guys saying it.
Really?
Like, yeah, man. I literally... I hang out with our friends, and I feel so old. Because, like, we've been married for a couple years, but we've been together for almost a decade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, a decade, so many things change in the unmarried world. So when you hang out with single people, you're like, what did he say? What does it mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't hang out with single people.
Like, she's younger than me, and she doesn't know what half the shit means anymore because we've been together so long.
I
Does that make
remember
sense?
a newspaper article that came out when we were probably 8 or 9 years old. I remember when my mom clipped it and cut it out.
Yeah.
And it said like words of the future.
Yeah.
And I wish I had that and knew and tried to see what they predicted would be words of the future.
Yeah.
But I always think about that article and that so many words of today weren't even anywhere near societal
compact
norms
discs,
or whatever.
Compact discs and MP3s, zip files.
We had CDs. Do you remember what your first CD ever was with?
Oh boy, that's a great question. Man, you ask some good questions sometimes. I'm ill prepared for them.
I think I remember mine. Ever. I know. Actually, I know.
What
I
was
remember it? It was Blind Melon, No Rain. With the bumblebee, the girl dressed up in the bumblebee costume. On the front.
I know the first CD actually. You know what my first big CD was? Guns N' Roses, Lose Your Illusions, 1 and 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have it still?
I think so, somewhere. At least one of them.
Really?
Yeah, at least one of them. I took those everywhere with me, man. I lost one, then I found another one, then I got it burnt. You know what I mean?
When I was 14, I ordered the entire Lifetime Sounds of the 70s.
Did you?
Yeah,
I remember,
collection.
Dude, you guys loved that shit. That was so funny.
Dude, I loved that set. It was like I just remember like CDs just kept coming. Like there'd be like a new box every whatever.
Yeah.
2 weeks. I was like, how many are in this? I had no idea when I ordered it.
How much did it cost? Like 3 days of payment of $69.95?
It wasn't that high, but I think
still
it
like
was
20 times
$24.99.
Yeah.
Like
three
payments,
times.
like 8 payments. Who the fuck knows?
Do you remember those magazine orders you would get, and you get like a free like shirt or football, but you'd have to order like 3 different magazines, and then all this crazy stuff. So for like 3 years, you'd have like a Playboy, a Car and Driver, and like whatever coming to your house.
Mad Libs, or no, like not Mad Libs. Crack. No, it wasn't Crack.
Yeah, it was the one with a guy with a funny looking head.
Eddie.
That was Mad TV, right?
Mad
Magazine. Because Mad Magazine created Mad TV, and so on and so on.
What was the character's name? Alfred E. Newman.
Oh man, I don't. You know better than I do.
I'm pretty sure that's it.
Yeah. I just remembered he looked like a goon.
He was
like a real goon. But you know what was better than that was In Living Color. In Living Color changed the game for me, man.
Loved In Living Color.
The imitations, the hypeness, the dancing, like it changed entertainment. You know what I mean? But then I feel like they've fallen away from that now. Anyways,
at the end of the day, that's just a sketch comedy show, right? I
mean, right? Yeah.
Didn't they have like the Carol Burnett show before that even?
Yeah, Carol Burnett
that set it off
too. Yeah, Carol Burnett changed the game, bro. But the point being is that, today, none of them are that good to me. Because they're all trying to get like political points or like talk shit about what's going on in the world rather than just being funny. Just be funny.
Like Chris Farley, how funny was that guy?
I don't fucking care. The reason I'm watching this shit right now is because I've been reading political magazines all day, and I don't want to hear another fucking thing about it. You know what I mean? Like, I spent the day reading 4 papers and taking a shit, watching some MSNBC and some CNN, some Fox News, whatever I turned on that day to see who's yelling about what, and now you want to tell me more? Like, this is the end of the day. Tell me something funny that has nothing to do with this.
All right, his name's Alfred E. Newman.
Alfred E. Newman. Yeah.
Alfred E. I used to love those. And what was I saying before? Mad Libs. Mad
Libs was like the game we got when we were in high school, and like it would have stuff missing. Yeah,
that was the best.
So you always like filled in like bad words and shit.
Always.
It was like Johnny went to play with his.
That's like
dick.
The modern. That was like the post Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah.
Have you ever played Cards Against Humanity?
Yeah, that's the new one, anyways.
I played it one time, and I've heard a lot about it, and people rave about it. I did not think it was that great. It was fun.
Yeah.
I don't think. Maybe I just played the hype up so much in my own mind that I was disappointed.
I think it's just something fun for people to do together, and there's not a lot of that anymore. That like really draws people together. To be honest with you, remember when we were kids? People had like board game nights. They'd have friends over and have cocktails. Everybody always got together to watch every game. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I remember how big of a deal it seemed when like a pay-per-view event fight was on.
Oh,
like if they were like, dude, Tyson's fighting. Like people would be at my uncle's house. Who's getting the pay-per-view? All right, I'll bring this. We're gonna hang out. It's gonna be insane. And then the dude would get knocked out in like 3 seconds, and everybody would be like, fuck.
I got the Tyson. I remember I was in college. I ordered the Tyson Lennox Lewis fight.
Yeah.
And I had like 12 people. I was like, all right, listen, it's going to be $99. I'm like, I need $5 from everybody.
And each of you bring something to drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And that fight, I remember, was not a great fight.
No, they never were. The ones that cost the most and had the most hype always ended like lopsided.
Except the Holyfield one where this guy's biting ears off.
That was crazy. Yeah, that was a pain.
What's his name is even a bigger draw. Floyd Money Mayweather.
Oh, well, they have more reach now than ever.
That's true.
I mean, plus social media has changed the game. Like people, back then, our access to sports, like Sports Illustrated was like nothing compared to what it was today. You know what I mean? I mean, not Sports Illustrated, excuse me, Sports Center was like one channel and it was Chris Berman going rumbling, fumbling, bumbling, down the world, here it goes. And, now you have 4 channels of ESPN, you have Fox News, you have Fox Sports Programming, whatever that is, that's FSP. You have so many outlets of sports, and then you have your social media where people are popping that stuff at you all the time. So like comparatively back then, things just didn't get the hype. You know what I mean? Like in your face, man. Now it's like you live in that zone.
Imagine like when like media like first started. Tell the town of 15.
Tell the town of 15.
Right? It's like,
well,
we got 15 people.
I mean, no shit. Isn't that what like was it Ben Franklin? All those guys, that fucking time period, like when they cracked the goddamn printing press and shit, man, that changed the fucking game, man. That was like the internet of their time.
Carrier pigeons.
Did you ever hear about that Mafia boss up there? They busted a couple years ago in Sicily.
No, somebody told me.
This motherfucker was living in an old shack on a village hill somewhere, like old man with like slippers on and shit. Right? Running a $500 billion empire using carrier fucking pigeons.
How did he get busted?
God damn. They've tracked it back. I guess
a
couple people snitched on him, whatever. And they finally found it. It took them 50 years to find. New investigative work, my dick. 50 years the guy ran that goddamn
it was that long? I didn't realize
He was like an 80-year-old man when they found him. Boss of bosses.
He was the guy.
The one. Everything came from the diamond. You know what I mean? like the pyramids of Egypt. This guy was the light at the top. Yeah. And they fucking got him.
Now is he still? Somebody's gonna write a movie about that.
I hope they do. I'd like to know more about it actually, but I don't want to study it. I want someone to make a movie so I can just spend 2 hours and figure it all out. all the big
I'm
details.
Sure it's all 100% true.
And then I could go on like tropes online and find out all the stuff they got wrong. You know what I mean? So I learned the whole history that way. Because they're like, oh, this was not historically accurate. And what about this? And they screwed this up in the movie. I think 2 years ago.
Oh, so he's still alive?
I'm sure he is. And if he is, he's in a hospital somewhere, like arrested. You don't arrest the guy.
Yeah, no, he's in a cell where he's running the show still.
Probably.
Like in Goodfellas.
Like in Goodfellas. Like they pulled me away, but...
I still got my boys.
Everything's all right. We're all right over here. How you doing?
That's funny. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But, there's a secession plan. There's got to be, right? So somebody else just picked up the baton.
Who knows? I mean, dude, drugs, money, mafia, the world doesn't go away.
Yeah.
All right, just someone else takes over.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's got to be...
Someone else takes over.
There would have had to have been a secession plan.
That's it, man. That's it. All right, folks. We've had enough of you personally, so get the fuck out of here. We got to go. Anything you want to say? Anything else to our lovely friends?
I think if you enjoyed it, share it so that people can enjoy it with you.
Yeah.
If you hated it, go fuck yourself.
And if there's any concerns you have and you want to email us directly, you can find us at thematzabalsoup@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And we'll answer your questions directly. You don't have to make comments on YouTube or any of that. If you got a real concern or you're angry at me or you want us to read something on the podcast.
I don't really care if they make comments.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
Yeah.
I want to hear your opinion. I want to know what you think because, without your questions, this isn't going to be a good show. Anyways, we'll talk to you guys later.
Anyways.
No, it's not. It's not. It's fucking terrible. But, There's gonna be that one person out there that listens to it, and we're gonna make their day.
Yeah, I hope so.
And as long as I reach one person, that's all I care about. That's it. Yeah. All right, brother.
See you next time.
Catch you next week.
L'chaim!